Hi, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Living in the Moment with Let Us Live magazine. I'm your host, Oroscia L, and today we have a very special guest, none other than the king of hair himself, Terrence Davidson. That's right, he's sitting with us, LUL Magazine. He's graced the heads of many celebrities, Tamar Braxton, Trina, the list goes on. Let's see what he's been up to. Follow me.
See you in the city, looking all pretty, but I pretend you don't exist. See you in the city, looking all pretty, but I pretend you don't exist. Deleted your number, damn I wish I had it right about now. Deleted your number,
Yeah. Rule number one, never get close. Never ever ever get close, cause you never know where it's gonna go. Rule number two, never go ghost. Never ever ever go ghost. Rule number three, never to the bros, cause there's some stuff they don't need to know. Rule number four, always stay real with your folks, cause they write it till they can't no more. Toxic describing my everything. I even thought by the wedding ring. Discussing my matters in private is something she can never do for a change. I think I'm working for better.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Living in the Moment with Let Us Live magazine. I'm your host, Oroscia L, and today we are discussing hair, and more hair with none other than the king of hair himself, celebrity master stylist, Terrence Davidson. Hello, sir.
Howdy.
Howdy, how are you?
I'm still cracking up at your smile.
I can't help it. I really can't help it. And I'm really happy to be here with you. So let's get into it. You've been in the hair industry for a number of years. Can you tell me how you got your start?
It depends on hair or celebrity hair.
Let's start with hair. Let's start all the way back to kind of your childhood. Who introduced you to hair? How did you know hair was for you?
So the way I started with hair was, I graduated from high school and I was supposed to be going to school at Norfolk State for running track. I graduated from Somerville High School because I was living with my grandmother at the time. When I was in the 8th grade, I got shipped from Marietta, Georgia, back to Jersey where I was born at because I used to fight in school all the time. And my mother was like, you're not going to be living here no more. Like, it's just not going to work for you because they put me out of school for fighting all the time and I literally couldn't go back to school no more. Mm-hmm. So she sent me up north. I went there, graduated, moved back down south. And see, me, I'm a Southern boy, even though I was born in the North, that I was raised in the South and I'm used to like the hairstyles. I'm used to all the crazy haircuts. And before I left Atlanta to go back to Marietta to go back to Jersey to go to school, I was in Marietta High School and all the girls used to wear the asymmetrical haircuts and all the finger waves. All that stuff was just back when I was in high school. So I just knew hair was in me anyway. I used to draw hairstyles when I was in high school too for people to get their hair done for prom and all that other stuff when I moved to Jersey.
Okay.
So when I moved back to Atlanta, I was going to go to school because I ran track in Norfolk, and I came home to visit my mom before I went to college. She was like, she didn't want me to go all the way to Virginia by myself and and all this other stuff. So I was like, okay. I went to school at DeVry, and I was like, it's just not for me. Like, this is not what I wanted to do. And my two cousins, Fonda and Shay, they lived in Marietta, and they were like popping with doing hair. They was in beauty school actually, but they were doing a lot of people hair with the push waves and the ponytails and the big ponytails. I was like, this is fun. This is what I want to do. Like, so I would just see it all the time. And when I was in DeVry, I used to have hair. I used to have long hair. I used to wear my hair in a bob. I used to wear my finger waves lifted up. So me doing my own hair, I used to do my sister's hair and all that. I was like, I want to go to school for hair. My mom was like, that's not what you're going to school for. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to school for that. And I ended up quitting school at DeVry and I went to beauty school. And I went to school with my cousins and it just was crazy. I think it was on and popping from there because I was going to beauty school half the time. Sometimes I feel like getting up and going. Or I'll go home and watch the stories. But when I was in beauty school, I was just learning so much as far as, I really taught myself just from looking. But I went to school for beauty school just because this is what I really wanted to do. And that's when I started when I was young.
Very nice. At what point did you know that you made your mom proud?
When her living room was full of people sitting there every time she come home from work and she'd be like, you have got to get these people out of my house. Because she would get off of work and there would be so many people in the living room to where one of the clients actually went to this lady to get her hair done one time and she told her about me. So she was like, Tina asked about you. She wants to know if she want to meet you because she was like, she keeps hearing about how many people hair you be doing and So I literally left and went up there, spoke to her, met with her. She was like, you can shampoo for me from Monday through Friday. And on Saturdays, you can do anybody hair you want to for free. You don't have to pay me for working in the shop. She said, and I'll pay you Monday through Friday for shampooing for me.
Nice.
I was like, that's the bomb.
Yeah.
And now that I'm sitting here thinking about that, like, that's where I want to go again. Like, I mean, you can always rebirth where you came from.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to do that for someone else because I do that now. I do mentor people, but doing that with her, I learned so much doing hair. She literally forced me how to straighten hair. Now I love straightening people's hair that has natural hair and full of body and stuff. She forced me on this one lady one day. I was crying at work.
Really?
I did not want to do it, but I would go to beauty school, get off, and go up there with her. But I had stopped going to beauty school at one point once I got in a salon with her.
Okay.
After a while, but my teacher that was in beauty school saw me.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, you need to go back to school. She's like, I want you to get your paperwork. And I was like, okay, I'll go. And she opened up her own, and it was a white lady.
Very nice, okay.
I really respected that. It was a white lady who cared.
Yes.
And her school was literally right next to the salon I was working at. It was in the next plaza over. So I went to work, and then I was going there to beauty school part-time with her, and she got me out of school and got everything I needed. Because I quit the other school because I got tired of the teacher. Like, she was getting, I used to go to school every time they had a competition. Though.
Okay.
The people used to hate for me to always come to school because I always win the competitions. But, I mean, it was in me. It's just in me. It is what it is, and I love it. I don't know how far I'm going to take it, but I love it.
Absolutely. Well, what would you say that someone who's interested in hair, what would you say are the basic skill sets that they need for all of the aspiring hairstylists that are watching? What are the basics?
The basic skill sets? Customer service. I think that's number one. Because the new ones now, the things that they're doing now is crazy to me. Like, they're literally not even shampooing the hair. And someone asked me yesterday, they texted me, they was like, they wanted to come and get their hair done by me. And she was like, but do you wash hair? And I was like, shampoo hair? Yeah, I do.
Yes.
I was like, you're supposed to get your hair shampooed. But I mean, some of my clients might come and already have their hair braided from before. They don't want to take their braids out. I can still wash their hair with the braids. But I think that's the number one thing that a lot of people complain about now is that, the customer service wise is that you need to shampoo your client's hair. I will always try to teach that to a lot of people. Just customer service is important. And then the client may not always be right, but the client is right, if you get what I'm saying.
I understand.
The client is always right, customer service. You just gotta, because we will really tear up a hair salon if we do, the otherwise. So I just try to teach that to a lot of people that I feel that are well worth it in the industry that are trying to come up and try to learn things. And,
absolutely.
My way is not always the right way, but I mean, I survived off of my way.
You've done more than survive. We'll get into that, but yes, absolutely. But I've definitely heard that, and unfortunately, I've had that experience as well, where you go and they don't, shampoo your hair. Why do you think that is? Like, where did it turn in the industry?
I can say it's just laziness. I don't think that it turned that way in the industry. I think some people are just lazy or just don't want to do that. Like, I think that their mindset is on styling the hair or putting on a wig. At this point, in this day and age, people are just slapping on wigs. They feel like they are celebrity hairstylists because they don't did. There's a difference between a celebrity and a social media influence. There's a difference. And a lot of them will call themselves celebrity hairstylists when they do influence off of the social media, and it doesn't work that way. The rules have changed so much, or they've changed the rules so much, because it really hasn't. The rules haven't changed, they changed the rules. And I feel like they need to be a little bit more educated on it. And I think that they're so comfortable with just slapping on a wig or just doing people's hair without washing their hair, like they're totally forgetting the educational part. Half of them may not have went to school. So maybe that's what it is.
Understood.
That's probably what it is.
So we also mentioned kind of how you got your start in the actual industry doing hair for celebrities. So who was your very first client?
My very first celebrity client was Left Eye.
Yes.
I did her for the cover of Honey magazine.
Wow.
It's on my Instagram page. I have to find that photo.
Yes.
It's all the way down, but it's on there. And when I did her, she actually wore a headdress, an Indian headdress, so all I had to do was the two braids or whatever.
Okay.
But it was just, I was so hyped to do her for that magazine. You just made me want to repost it on my page either tonight or tomorrow. I'm going to go find it tonight.
Absolutely, yes, please do.
But she was my very first celebrity client that I did. And the people that called me for the job, I don't even know how I met them. But I remember the two people. One lady was so aggressive with everything. I loved both of them, and the other one, I cannot think of neither one of their names, which is crazy to me. But they loved me and my work, and the crazy part is the vibe that they have with me is the same vibe that I get off of anyone that I meet and work with in the industry. As far as an artist manager or somebody, it's the same vibe. And I felt they wanted me to work with Left Eye, and it was for a shoot with her. She had this big bubble thing on her head, like a fishbowl, because she was starting to branch out on her own. So I got to do her little bang for that shot. I never think they used that shot, but I remember the bubble like a astronaut thing with her bang. But the other shot they did use for the cover, so I had to find that. But she was my very first client that I worked with, and it went up from there. I mean, I used that one photo as a reference to get other artists. It went from her to Lil' Kim. I remember.
So let's talk about that, right? Because we were sitting in front of this amazing hair wall. You just mentioned how we went from Lil' Kim to who was next? Who was after Lil' Kim?
Yeah, it is an order.
Okay, please.
It went from Left Eye to doing Lil' Kim. And the reason why, can I explain how I got Kim?
Please do.
The way I did Kim was the way I am with the way I came in. Like I told you, I teach people. I used to watch 106 in Park every Monday. So I would watch, 106 in Park on Mondays because it's the only day hair salons when I would be off. And I could sit there and watch it. So when I was sitting there watching, I would sit there with my notebook and my pen. I would watch all the videos, and artists that I wanted to work with, I would write their name down on what label they work for and just research who their management was. And I would try to contact their management somehow, some way. I figured out how to create some type of promo package of my work. It was just crazy how I just pursued that situation. But then when it came to Kim, I found out who her hairstylist was. And that's how I think people should pay attention to now, is to not directly reach out to the artist because they already have a hairstylist, evidently. Reach out to the person that's doing their hair. Respectfully, you can get in through them. And with Lil' Kim, I bugged her hairstylist like every week. Hey, you need any work? You need any? I would do photo shoots. I remember doing a photo shoot and sending her the photo of my shoot with a girl with the little Indian beads all the way down her shirt with no shirt on. She had the beads on, and her hair was in a ponytail here and a ponytail here, and they both went out. And then she had a Chinese bang, and then she had long hair in the back, and then I had the beads around her neck, and she was sitting there. And I sent that photo to Dion Alexander, that was Lil' Kim's hairstylist. And I would always call her and be like, this is my work, what you think of it? She's like, Terrence, that photo is international. You have got to do that on somebody, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Turn around when I seen the Notorious video when Biggie died, and they did a Notorious.
Yes.
They did that video. Lil' Kim had that hairstyle in the video. She did that style on Kim. And I was like, she probably had, I was not mad. I was hyped that she got that idea from me.
Right. People
nowadays would be like, oh shit, they took my shit. And me, I was just excited that she used something that I sent, because I know that I sent that picture to her. So I would stay on her, and I didn't even, and you don't get mad. You'll get your opportunity. I never got mad with her. I would still hit her up like, anytime you need me. She called me and said, will you be in New York on this day? I was like, yep. Even if I ain't, I will be. And I had to do Lil' Kim for something called House of Styles for MTV. And she had to switch wigs 5 times. I did a blue wig. She did the blue wig that was wet. Dion already had the wig, so all I had to do was just wet it down and put it on Kim. Then there was an orange wig that I got to bring on my own and had a whole bunch of flips. And Kim loved that wig. She was so hyped. She loved that wig. And then I did the blonde wig on Kim. That was a big old wave. I think it's up here for some reason.
Is it this one at the top?
Yep, there it goes.
Very nice.
That's for House of, you can see my hands on her hair.
Yes.
That's for the House of Style, MTV. And that's when Gucci was in and everything. That's another thing I learned, because I had a Gucci pants and a little shirt. I've learned to wear all black to work instead of trying to be dressed up like these celebrities, because it don't work that way. If you go to work, you need to go to work for work. And let them be the celebrities.
Absolutely.
But it was so dope. I did that on her, and she had 4 other hairstyles. But that was my amazing jump into the game. Once I did that, I used that as promo to tell people, because there wasn't social media out like that. So I'd be like, they were like, who you done? I might have a picture of them. Like, I did Lil' Kim. So that's when I ran into Trina when she came to Atlanta for Gay Pride. I did her for Gay Pride, and I did her for free. I brought the wig, I made it on a stocking cap. It's the kind you put on to right here, you leave your hair out the front, and then you just blend it in with the hair. It was just a bunch of layers and a roller set. And she loved it. And she was like, will you be in New York for the VMA Awards? I was like, yep. I would say yep to anything. Absolutely. Anything that they ask me I'm going to be at, I'm going to be in hell. You want me in hell? I'm not going there.
Right, but we're not out there, but I understand.
I just didn't see myself not giving up on anything that I wanted to do. And when I seen the opportunity with her, she was like, am I going to be in New York? I was like, yeah, I could be there. But then turn around, Trina hit me and was like, here's your information. They're going to call you. They're going to book your flight and your hotel. I was like, oh, so they flying me there.
Yes.
So they flew me there. And ever since then with Trina, that's when she performed with Missy for the VMAs. It was Missy, Trina, and Ludacris.
Yes.
And that was one of the biggest moments of my life. Like each artist that I ever work with, I can feel there's a moment with them. And when working with Trina, that moment was being backstage at the VMA Awards, and for her to call me and be like, can I do her hair for that? She was performing with Missy, Ludacris, and what is the dude's name? They had a song together, but they did 1 Minute Man. The minute.
Yes. Show me what you got. Yes.
So they performed that. So there was nowhere for me or this other makeup artist who I met backstage. We were sitting in the hallway through the whole time. I didn't sit in the room with them because Missy and them didn't know me, so I couldn't sit in the room with them being their business. Okay. I didn't even care. Mm-hmm. I loved being in the hallway. Everybody that was I saw Justin Timberlake, Jennifer Lopez, Britney Spears, everybody in the industry, they were walking by us in the hallways, and I was so happy to be there in that hallway in that moment. And the girl that was next to me lived in Jersey City. Once I did that, I decided to move to New York. I was like, I packed all my stuff up. I used to have so many clients in Atlanta, like first come, first serve. The first 10 people, that's it. I don't do nobody else after that. Wow. I decided to give up all of that and move to New York and pursue my dreams with doing celebrity hairstyling. I was like, I went and slept on my cousin's floor from September all the way to December. I'll never forget that. And I just found me an apartment in Jersey City. Yes. And in Jersey City, I found this apartment that was a basement. It wasn't even an apartment, it was a room. They rent out rooms more so up there. So I paid $100 a week if I can afford it, because I really didn't afford it. But the lady gave me the room under faith. She looked at me, she was like, I believe that you'll figure a way out to pay me. She was like, and I think I like you. See, I told you people feel something about me. She gave me that room in the basement with no money down or nothing. And I just figured out every week how to come up with $100 to pay her, because I wasn't working in no salon or big like that. Yeah. So she made it work for me. And I moved up to New York, and I just said, I'm going to make it happen. I've cried. I've been homeless so many times up there. It's just crazy just being in New York. And my son was only 6 years old, so he was living with his mom. So I couldn't drive. She got my license suspended from driving because she did an abandonment on me. So they suspended my driver's license in Atlanta. So I couldn't drive nowhere. So I was like, I just have to figure this out. But I never, ever gave up on my career. And my son is like my best friend to this day. So it's like I never abandoned him. You know, I was doing this for me and him. Yes. He's met everyone on this wall before since he was young. When he was young, he never wanted to go to anything. Now he tells me to this day he wished he would have went to everything I asked him to come to. Right. He's done met Patti LaBelle. I got pictures with me, him, and Patti LaBelle. So Patti, honey. Yeah, it's a lot. And I think, that's just my start. I started with, that with the whole Trina. Trina was 7 years. But when I moved to New York, I ended up meeting Remy and got working with her. So I started working with Trina and Remy. Yes. Then I met Little Mo. Then I was working for this magazine with Marcus Blasingame for Black Men Magazine. So I would be doing that. That would be my funding to pay my rent, because it was like $300 every time you work. Well, it'd be like $150. But I would do like 3 gigs with them a month. So I'd be like, I got to figure out how to make this money. I was a hustler. I would make my money. So. I see that. Absolutely. You have a great friendship, I'm sure, with all of your clients, but I know with Remy Ma as well. That's right? My best friend. Yeah. That's my sister. Very nice. She's one of my best friends, but she's definitely somebody who I know I care about a lot, and I know she cares about me a lot. We have these conversations as far as a brother and sister would, so. Absolutely. She'll get on my nerves, I get on her nerves, but I love her somewhere. That's brothers and sisters. That's how it's supposed to be. So what about your career when it comes to Nicki Minaj? It was a good run. I can say that. Yes. It was definitely a good run. I met her through her hairstylist who lived here. Okay. I was in Jersey at the time, which is weird again, because he called and said Nicki wanted to start wearing wigs, because beforehand I was doing wigs anyway. People knew me for doing wigs with Trina, everybody else. Nicki was just coming out at the time. So he was like, my client want to start wearing wigs. I want to get some wigs from you. He wanted to get them from me to put them on her. Okay. And I was like, that's fine. Just let me know whenever you need them or want them. So he must have told her. And something happened where they had fell out, because I heard that when they went to LA, he was doing a video with her, and I think he had left the set or decided to go back home to Atlanta or something. Okay. Just, just something that I really don't even know. Just wasn't a good day. So I got a call, and I'll never forget the call, because I was at North Penn Station, the train station downtown North New Jersey. And I had stepped outside the train station. I was like holding my ear, and I remember him saying, he was saying that Nicki wants me to work with her. But I just felt like when he called my phone, I was like, is the guy who called me about the wigs playing the trick on me to see if I would try to take his client? So I was kind of like, whatever. Yeah, iffy about it. When he called my phone, he was like, yeah, Nicki wants you to start doing her hair. Do you want to, do her hair? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I can. I was like, well, what happened to so-and-so? I was like, because they felt like I was being funny because I was like, yeah, but I felt like that was him. So I didn't want to be like, oh, I'll do it. Forget who that person is, because I'm always respect another person in the glam world.
Yes.
Always. And that's what happened. So then she jumped on the phone and she was like, Terrence, she's like, this is Nicki. I want to know if you want to go on the road and get on the road with me. And I was like, yeah, I do. I was like, I just didn't know if this was you or him or somebody trying to play a prank. So ever since I remember being on the road with her, and I remember her always saying to me, she's like, you were so nasty to me when you first met me on the phone. I was like, girl, because I didn't know it was you.
Right.
I thought somebody was playing a trick on me. Like, that's just that. But
right.
I got love for her. I do. I think that her drive in the industry was so amazing. Like, when I first heard her music, I wasn't sure what was going on and was it, going to make it or not, because I was like, oh, it's just another female rapper, But then when I was like, oh, she's Wayne and Emma behind her, anybody with such a strong engine behind them is going to push the artist.
Absolutely.
I was like, they're going to push her. So with our chemistry of what she wanted, because I came to Atlanta, I caught the train down here, and we met at Justin's. It was Justin's at the time, Puffy's restaurant. They don't have it no more.
Right.
I met with her, Deb, and Safari. We all met, and we all talked about the direction of what she wanted to do, where she wanted to go with her hair. I'll never forget, she had on this black fur and everything.
Yes.
She wanted to do colorful wigs. I remember her saying that. And I was like, that's dope. I was like, I think it's a dope idea to do this. I was like, we should try to do this. And I started going into the ideas and everything. And we just took it there. I think that it just launched off from BET when she did the performance. You know how they do the fashion show for BET? They don't even do that no more.
Yes.
She wore the bob. I took her out of wearing the long hair with the bang because that's what the other guy was doing. And I really am not the one to keep doing something somebody else does. I like to bring flavor to it.
Absolutely.
So I gave her the black bob with the pink in the back.
Which was very popular.
Short.
Yes.
She wore that and went crazy. Then I gave her the pink bob from the Ludacris video.
Yes.
And she wore that on stage. And everybody was like, that was crazy. It's the crazy pink bob right there.
Oh, yes.
But that right there, it just took off. And when that took off, I would be home every day coloring wigs, doing different stuff. And it just kind of built a great situation with Nicki. The world was loving it, and it is what it is.
Absolutely. Well, switching gears just a tad. Oh, listen, do your thing. Switching gears just a tad. When it comes to Bronner Brothers, you actually won that competition 3 different times. 2 and 3. 3 for the people.
Yeah, 3.
Yes.
But I really want 4.
Okay, let's
got
talk about it.
disqualified on 1.
Okay.
They're going to think I didn't win it. They swear I didn't win it, but it is what it is. I won.
Okay.
But, yeah, I won in 2009, 2015, 2017, and it was supposed to be 2019 when they did it before. So
yes. And you actually made history with Bronner Brothers. Can we talk a little bit about that?
2015, when I actually performed, my concept was called Evolution of Illusion.
Yes.
And it's just the point of, to me, and it always reference to, if anyone knows when men dress up as women, they just feel like, oh, they're just like a man in a dress with a wig. That goes back to looking at Tu Wong Fu, Wesley Snipes with a wig on. You ever seen that movie?
No.
What?
I know. What? I'm gonna go watch it now.
Tu Wong Fu?
No,
oh my God, you're gonna make me want to watch that tonight again too. Tu Wong Fu is the movie. Like, it was Wesley Snipes. I don't know the guy name who died. He was in Footloose. What's the guy name?
I don't know.
He played in Ghost too. He was the main character.
Listen, you're gonna show that I haven't seen clearly a lot of movies that I need to.
And then there was the Puerto Rican one who was called Chi Chi.
Okay.
So they was all dressed up in drag. But to me, that's what men back in the day looked like when they wanted to be a woman. Like, just a wig on, but their face and their body was still hard. So the evolution of illusion to me was how beautiful they look now. How transgenders literally look just like a female. So I did that for the Warner Brothers Hair Battle in 2015, and what I did was I brought to life a Whitney Houston, a Patti LaBelle, a Little Kim,
Yes.
and a Nicki on stage. And I brought transgenders who literally performed them for a living and could deliver on stage. And that's what we did. We delivered, and that show was, and I don't even know who could have tried to duplicate that at that moment, because that was a show that I've never seen before.
Yes.
And I felt they never seen it and had everybody on their feet. And I felt like that was something I was so happy about. I knew when I got off that stage that I won. I didn't even think. And when I compete, I never look at the other people competing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just something that I do, and it's something I love to do. But Warner Brothers is definitely a family of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And they're part of my career.
Absolutely. And you actually gave people in Atlanta those opportunities to perform with you on stage, correct?
I definitely did. The transgenders that performed on stage, it opened the doors to transgenders being models in Warner Brothers book, because there was rules where you had to be a woman in order to be a model.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, I don't know, because I don't read the rules, and they'll tell you. I never read the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that they had to be women. I just figured entertainment was entertainment, and that's not my mind don't think like that. I don't even think black and white when I think, So on stage, like, it was probably like a week before, maybe 2 weeks before, that it was an issue with Warner Brothers, and because they're a Christian company, it was kind of hard for them to take that.
Okay.
And then to promote it, because it was on BET, I think it was kind of hard for them to be like, well, why are we promoting something when we're a Christian company? And this is,
okay.
I guess they,
Understood.
But they opened the doors.
Yes.
They accepted it. And they made it happen. And they said I broke the rules, but I also made history by letting that happen in Warner Brothers.
Absolutely. And I got a chance to see it. And of course, it was amazing.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Literally, wow. So when it comes to someone giving you their vision for how they want their hair, what does your creative process look like?
Explain that. If you're saying they're giving me their vision?
Yeah, so if someone says, I want to do, you just mentioned Nicki Minaj, and you said she wanted to do colors in her hair. You then take that vision that they've kind of given you and you make it your own so that it's duplicated for the world to see.
Always.
What does your creative process look like?
I don't know. Sometimes things can be a mistake. That, with the clips in the hair,
Okay.
I was actually showing her something on the wig, and the clip stayed in there. And I remember her on BET when she was on Little Six Apart, she was like, I like that. Leave that. I'll never forget how she said that.
Mm-hmm.
And she left the clips in her hair for the video. We never took the clips out.
Yeah.
It's like little things happen creatively, naturally. Just coloring wigs, to me, I would get a whole bunch of colors, and I would literally just like see what it looked like mixed, because everything has to have a blend of blonde. Blonde would have to make the color come out more vibrant.
Okay,
So
good to know.
I would take colors and I would just put streaks of them on blonde hair and just look at them like, okay, I'm gonna do a wig that color. That's just the process I was playing with.
Yeah.
So I just really didn't have no kind of direction. I just was like creating.
Right.
And that's what I am, a creator.
Absolutely, for sure. Well, I'm sure that all of your units and pieces mean a lot to you, but if you had to pick one, what would you say is either the most significant to you or the most fun to make?
If I had to pick one, they're all fun to make.
Okay.
I can be clear with that one. But the most iconic wig, which I don't see, is, here it is.
Yes.
The Grammys with the leopard print. I felt that was so iconic and it stood out because I don't think nobody was expecting that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was so dope to just blend in with her collar, and it just went all the way up. So I felt that was one of my most iconic wigs on her.
Absolutely. That was definitely a memorable moment.
It was.
For sure. So you mentioned that, of course, they're all fun to make. Even though it's work for you, why do you think that your job is so fun?
Because it's something I love to do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that with anyone, if you love to do it, the fun is going to come out of it. Because it's like just creating. It's just like, I can't wait to let people see what I just created on this person. Like, it's just fun. It's fun. Everybody's not going to agree or like your work. Me personally, I feel like it doesn't matter if they do or don't like it, they're paying attention to it. If they're talking bad about it, if they're talking good about it, they're talking about it.
True.
I also learned that from Nicki because she didn't care.
Mm.
I thought that was such a great part of her, is that she didn't care what other people thought. I thought it was important that she just, whatever she wore, she wore.
Yeah.
But if they're talking, it's great.
Absolutely.
Free press.
She was confident in herself as well. She still is, honey. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, what obstacles or challenges have you faced in your career, whether they're past or even maybe present?
Present challenge would be for me to be in the game for 20 years and still playing catch up with. And this the crazy part is I don't even feel like I'm playing catch up. I'm just playing. What is it to stay in the know of the whole hairstyles, everything? Because I've created so much and done so much. I feel like everything is a 360. But for me to stay irrelevant with the young ones, like the Kellen Derricks, the Tokyo, definitely the Tokyo. He does Cardi B, Arrogante. There's so many, Alonzo, Andre, and Crazy Hands. There's so many that are banging right now in my head that I know, just off the top of my head. Like I'm from the era of not even Oscar James, because he was somebody who I looked up to. And I'm looking at what he's doing now, so it kind of keeps me in the know because he's doing movies now, but he's still working. And if we can just stay in the game and still work, I think we'll be fine. You know, I look at there's Ursula Stevens, Yusef who does Rihanna. Like there's so many of us from my era to looking at the ones in the era now. It's just totally different that we still have to keep up, or what do we got to do to stay in the game? That's a real headache. Just to figure out what am I doing, or am I doing it right, or am I doing it wrong? I just try to stay me and just keep it moving. Absolutely.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job, obviously. Yes, indeed. So you've mentioned, clearly you've been in the game for 20 years. At what point would you say that you took the title King of Hair? Because you definitely have it. At what point would you say you took that title?
And I didn't even take it. When I was working with Nicki at one point, I kept seeing the messages or the comments. They were like, "You're the king of hair. You're the king of hair." So I literally just took the hashtag King of Hair, King of Hair, King of Hair.
Yes.
And ever since then, and then competing, I felt like when I won my trophy from Warner Brothers, that just stamped the whole King of Hair. And I've just won it so many times. I was like, yeah, I mean, you have to literally do more than just a social media influence to call yourself the king. Like you literally have to pay dues. You literally have to build a resume. You have to have, I have photos from everything. Some people may not have that. And I feel like, you know, I don't mind passing the throne, but you got to earn it. And I want to see someone, and I see a few of them that are literally like, I love Tokyo.
Yes.
I think Tokyo is killing iconic looks. I love Tokyo and its creativity. I just love that about him. I'm not even going to lie. I'm going to take that away from him. Like, I literally watch people with creativity that kills, and I think does a great job with that.
Absolutely. For those who look up to you, what would you say is the recipe for success?
The recipe is staying humble. Sometimes you got to deal with a lot, and some people can just lose it. But if you just humble yourself and just make everything work out. I always, I'm humble about a lot of things, but I can really piss people off if they piss me off. But being humble keeps you in the game. I think that's the recipe, just to stay humble and do your homework. Research. Like, hair is 360. It comes back around. Things that I look at old movies from the Aretha Franklin look to just that era of hair to what they're redoing now. I just did it on Renee Rucci recently. She had a flip. Yes. I'm like, I did that flip. They did that flip with Aretha Franklin, but I like that. It's just hair is just coming back around. I've seen pictures of my mom with hairstyles redone. So.
That's cool. Well, how would you say that you balance, right, your work, your travel, and then your personal life? Because you're clearly busy. I know that you're just coming off the road, right? How do you balance all of that?
I don't know how to balance it. I just literally let it work. I get appointments. I still do people with hair, regular, clients. I still photo shoots. I'm still a father, my son. I still, a family person. People always wonder why my living room looks like a movie theater, because I like to just sit at home and watch movies, because when I'm home, that's my me time. So any other time I'm out on the road, or I just was in Chicago this week hosting a wig-a-thon, wig fest with other glam mates, but we all had a Airbnb together, and we had so much fun just being in the house or going out to have a drink and just spending time with each other and learning from each other. Yes. And that's just it. Like, I guess I just continue education from the young ones, because I'm going to learn, but I don't think I can balance that. Now I just figure it out
Mm-hmm.
as it's coming along. I don't really try to balance it.
Understood.
I ain't even gonna lie.
Please don't. Please don't. So you're traveling. You're doing hair. Do you have your own shop?
I don't.
Okay.
It's not gonna happen for me. That ain't
Okay.
gonna happen.
And why would you say that?
I've had three
Wow.
salons.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out.
Understood.
Um,
It is good though.
But I've had three, but I mean, I've been there, done that. I just feel like it's babysitting for grown people. And now the salons have changed so much to where now there's salon suites. There's not like a salon where a bunch of people.
That's
I
true.
think I would probably want to work where it's a bunch of people still, even if it's suites, but I still want to see everybody else's work so we can all learn from each other.
Right.
And that's not happening these days either.
Mm-hmm. What about opening a hair school one day?
I ain't got time.
No. Understood. You are a busy man. You are a busy
I'm not
man.
gonna be teaching nobody nothing. I literally have my organization called Legion of Glam, and that's enough. Like, I have artists that I have worked with recently. I just had one that I worked with, and she uses my assistant now instead of me, which is cool for the assistant. But I just feel like, well, I won't be dealing with that artist no more.
Yes.
But they'll call the assistant if they want to be cheaper or if they want their work. It just depends. But I'm happy for the assistant because she went through me to learn what she's, as far as working with the artist. So she does have her own skills, but I'm glad that she's doing the artist.
Absolutely.
I'm always glad for
Other people.
other people in the glam world to grow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a definite.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about how some artists or clients may go about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's crazy. You're like, why would you just not tell me you want to use them instead of, but I'm glad that they're growing as artists.
Right.
So.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to switch gears just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about Meet the Normz.
Meet the Normz is, it's this.
Yes. Yes.
It came about during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And while being in the house, I was like, I know I was doing dashikis at one point, but I was like, I want to get into selling the hoodies because I love wearing hoodies.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what it was going to be. I wanted to get into something that I want to start selling and open up something that everybody wears because I know it's just something different with clothes.
Yes.
I wear hoodies all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a lot of people from LA to Atlanta, it doesn't matter what time of the year it is, people still wear hoodies.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, during the lockdown, the idea of the pandemic came to me because I was like, well, I want to create cartoon characters.
Yes.
And the characters that I created were 7 people, which means 7 streams of income. Us in the African American community, we know how to create an income one way or the other. It doesn't matter what's going on. The pandemic, we will figure out how to get it done.
Absolutely.
And we've been doing this for years. They can't stop us. And I was like, this is a great thing. And I was like, what can I call it? And I'm like, well, everybody act like it's going to be a new Normz.
Mm-hmm.
And da-da-da-da. I was like, well, guess what? Meet the Normz.
Oh, that's smart.
And I just put a Z on the end. So each character, like, his name is Labs. I can look at it on here because it's the video card that I give to people when I do promo.
Yes.
It's Labs. He's a scientist, a young scientist in college. So when he gets out, he's going to be a scientist. He's going to make his money.
Yes.
There's a girl on the steps. Her name is Gigi. I mean, not Gigi, Too Live. She's a dancer at the strip club.
Yes.
Females, they know how to make their money at night so they can make their money during the pandemic one way or the other. They at the strip club.
Absolutely.
Then the girl is Gigi with the green hair. She's braiding someone's hair. She's a hairstylist. The guy whose hair she's braiding, he's an artist. He's a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
So he makes his money being a rapper. She makes husband a hairstylist. She's a dancer, scientist. He's going to be a pro basketball player when he gets out of school. Mm-hmm. This is a lawyer, a male and a female lawyer. They both work at the Normz law firm.
Absolutely.
So I just created this, and I think it was such a dope idea. And what I do is send this card to everybody who gets the hoodie, and they just open it up, and it literally describes all the characters.
Just hope you're enjoying your complimentary merchandise from Meet the Normz. Just want to introduce you to some of my Normz family real quick. Starting off with Gigi Normz. She's the professional hairstylist here in Normz City that does everyone's hair.
So that's how it goes.
I love it.
It'll be too long to be talking.
No, I love it. But I also love that you showcase the fact that as African Americans, we can literally do it all.
We can. And they literally, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that us as African Americans that gets taken away and gets blown up when we were the ones who created it. That's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
This is my opinion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, what would you say the words legend and legacy mean to you?
I never thought about legacy,
Mhm.
but legend. I feel you're supposed to get that when you gone.
Mhm.
Well, that's how it's tended. And people call me that all the time. I keep saying I'm still here. Though. They'll be like, "Oh, you're an icon or you're a legend in this game." And I look at the work 20 years. I guess 20 years is, you've created a legend.
Mhm.
And I've told my son all those trophies that I've gotten that if anything ever happens to me, just keep my trophies. If nothing else, but I know he's going to keep way more than that. He's cheap. I'm going to keep my tennis shoes. But I think that I've created that point in my life to where I am a legend in somehow, some way. And a lot of people look up to me. So I don't think, it's wrong for me to call myself that unless somebody can tell me something different.
Absolutely. And they won't. Because they can't.
So my legacy, I don't know, would be my trophies to leave for myself. I don't know. I mean, I have built up so much that he knows everything about me now. Mm-hmm. So, and I think we have the great relationship, father-son relationship ever. Like, I think that's just amazing for me. I think that's the best gift in the world for me to have. Because to think about it, when I first started my career, losing my driver's license for abandonment, when knowing damn well I'm going to take care of my son. Somehow, some way I figured out. My cousin was like, he's a police officer. He was like, boy, send them child support people $25 a month. They will not bother you because you're making an effort. I'll never forget he told me that. Mm-hmm. And I was trying my best, but I made sure my son, when I started working and really getting into the game, I was paying my son money, paying my uncle to keep my son while I'm on the road, paying for anything. I bought him a car in the 11th grade. I gave him everything that I never had, or just making sure he was still good.
Absolutely. And
that's just the way it was supposed to be. So I felt like I worked for what I needed to for him.
Yes. I love that. Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, as you mentioned, and I certainly agree, I am definitely having the honor of sitting with truly a living legend. And I know that we do have a room that I'd like for you to show me.
Sure.
If you can take us there. I know our audience certainly wants to see that.
They do? Okay. I get up. Ooh.
I will follow you.
All right.
So Terrence, now that we are officially in your wig room, tell me a little bit about what's happening here. I see some very familiar pieces.
This one is actually from the WAP remake video.
Yes.
Because with Jessica Dupart,
yes.
The Real Judy, of the Miracle Drops. She remade the WAP video and we recreated the ponytail that Cardi B wore, and we did her version with outfit she was wearing, and the hair matches the outfit.
I love it.
This is a headpiece that I made out of the beads. I don't know if you ever remember back in the day when people used to walk through those beads in the doorway.
Yes. So
I made this out of the beads in the doorway as a headpiece for Flo Millie. She's on the cover of Paper Magazine. Yes. And she actually wore this piece as well as the blue jean piece. So I took hair rollers and wrapped the blue jeans around the hair rollers and created just a ponytail out of the hair rollers. But it's a two-piece. And those are the actual same pieces too from the WAP video we did with Jessica.
Very nice.
For the remake, for the Miracle Drops products. That will be promoting her product. But
I love it.
And it's just different options of wigs. I always create wigs and just have fun doing stuff. And I have other clients that got some wigs coming out, so I don't want to speak on too much until that happens. But I'm just this is my creative room. This room here is where I create, just come in here, like turn on the TV and just start creating. And that's how I get all these creations out of it. Wigs, just wigs, and wigs.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you again for showing this to me. Thank you again for your time. And again, thank you all for tuning in. It is officially Living in the Moment with Let Us Live magazine. Until next time.
Toxic describing my everything. I even thought by the wedding ring. Discussing my matters in private is something she could never do for a change. I think I'm working for better. I think she working for cheddar. Not like she got her a job, so she leeching on me like her job is to sit here. I love her, yeah. God knows she the one, but sometimes we fall from our heaven undone. It's not a mistake, it's we just find ourselves in the midst of this thing we call love. I just try to be strong. I just try to be enough. Somehow she still finds a way to make sure she hurts me so rough. Never could I even try, yeah. Never could I even lie. I saw the pain inside those eyes. I saw how much she tried to hide. I saw how much I tried to fight. Something about her was so right. Her imperfection saw the light, and that's what took place over my sight. Look, rule number 1. is never get close. Rule number 2, never go ghost. Rule number 3, never to the bros. Rule number 4, never cross homes. I said, rule number 1 is never get close. Rule number 2, never go ghost. Rule number 3, never to the bros. Rule number 4, never cross homes. Remember, rule number 1 is never get close. Yeah. Rule number 2, never go ghost. Yeah. Rule number 3, never to the bros. Yeah. Rule number 4, never cross homes. Yeah. So why do you act different? Life ain't easy, but I see the vision. We've been friends for a good minute, but you steady crying over no good women. You a simp in disguise.